Hi everyone, it's week 83 in our series where we're discussing at the moment the concepts of the Cham Kiu form and the relationship between ideas in Cham Kiu form and Tsun and how the two forms blend with each other very nicely. We've recently been talking about the use of the pao bong and the kicking action. I'm now going to move on to something that started before that. We only touched on it extremely briefly a couple of episodes ago, and that is at the start of the second section, this Lan Sau action. In Tsun form, we have Lan Sau in this form. After we play the So Sau section and the Fak Sau, we come back to the Jam and then Biu, press down, lift up and so on, all that part. In the middle of all that is this section, the Lan Sau, which comes down into the middle. In the Cham Kiu form already, we've seen this Lan Sau action, which is a slight derivation from the first one. It's slightly tilted, and we're maintaining this structural integrity of the Wu Sau, but with the elbow risen. This third Lan Sau action is a little bit different again. The basic principle is the same. It's making a barrier between us and the opponent, but the emphasis now, if I turn to side onto the camera, is that I'm pushing the elbow off the body and slightly downwards. Now, the basic reasoning behind this is that if I'm jammed up, I can make space and move my opponent off their position so that I've got room to work my own hands. So I'll invite Gantak to help me demonstrate. Think of a situation where you're completely caught up. Your opponent's managed to jam you up very close. They're about to try to deliver an attack, or they're just trying to push you off balance. I can use the Lan Sau to create space, because in a situation like this, if I try to push him away with my arm, if he's very strong, it's going to push me away. Instead, if I relax the hand and move the elbow in a slightly downward direction, it affects his balance point, which is in his midline, and can move him away. If he's much bigger than me and I can't move him, I can use it to move myself. So this is one idea. Now in the form, of course, you see that it's done with the fist bent backwards, and a lot of people misunderstand that and think that that means I'm tensing up the forearm. It's in fact the absolute opposite of that. The reason that we turn the wrist backwards and close the fist is to remind ourselves not to use the forearm. We're actually focusing on the upper arm. So I'm actually pushing the upper arm bone, just like in Bong Sau, towards my opponent. The forearm remains actually quite soft. Now this is just one idea about the Lan Sau to make space. On the next installment, I'll explain some other applications of that Lan Sau action. We'll see you then.